All right, I'm still at the Harrah's in Lake Tahoe, and I just lost $4,000 yesterday. I should either be one video or two videos. I'm not sure if it's small enough to be one video. But today I'm going to play a little bit more volatile machine because I need to get my 4,000 back. And off camera, I think I lost another 5,000 on it. I mean, I'll have to run the numbers. But eventually I'm going to have a win-loss total of everything, including my non-recorded stuff. And currently I think I'm a little bit up on slots and blackjack and way down on baccarat. But anyway, that's all beside the point. Today we're going to play some luxury line, Buffalo edition, and hopefully we hit some luxury lines. I wanted a little bit more volatility than I was going to play Momo Mo Mummy, but we're going to do some $16 spins. And I'm going to, Buffalo! And I was going to discuss today my motivations for gambling. So why do I personally gamble? And I'll go through the whole iteration of, the first time I started gambling when I was 21. And, come on. And, yeah, so we'll just go from there. Buffalo! I need that when I hit something, not randomly. So, So when I was younger, I was, I come from a family of people who love to gamble. In fact, there's a good chance if you want to hang out with my family, you have to do it at the casino. And when I turned 21, I started going to the casino. And I guess let me back up. Luxury line. I grew up poor, right? And so I grew up in most of my formative years when I was young and formulating ideas. I was in a trailer. So we lived in a trailer, very poor. And so I always thought, man, I wanted to be rich. That's all that's not all I thought about, but it's, something that's present on your mind, especially if you're broke a lot, is you think about becoming rich. So when I was 21 and I started going to the casino, it was fun and interesting and exciting. And you look around and you see all this money and you think to yourself, like, man, I could make money doing this. Plot twist, you can't make money at this. I'll have the little gamble responsibly thing come up and go away. But gamble responsibly, I mean, in the sense that I just lost, $9,000 yesterday. But what I'm getting at is that my motivation when I first started gambling was to make money. And the truth is, you're just not going to make money gambling. It's not, unless you're doing some sort of card counting technique, or you're doing advantage play on slots, which advantage play is you look at like a must hit machine where it must hit by a certain number. And this is just one example. And if it gets close enough to that must hit by number, then at some point it becomes more profitable to play that machine than to not play that machine. So what it comes down to is, I kind of looked at gambling as a way out when I was in my 20s, and I got in huge financial trouble in my 20s. So that's why, I mean, even from the beginning, I try and remember to put the gamble responsibly, because, and then in the description, I always put, never wager what you can't afford to lose. And that's important because when I was younger, I really thought, you could gamble and make money. You can't gamble and make money unless you're doing some sort of advantage play, whether it's counting cards, which casinos will kick you out if you're counting cards. It's not illegal. It's just that they can refuse service to anybody, and they'll refuse service to you if you're counting cards. And then advantage play is you have to have a lot of casinos near you to do advantage play because you need enough machines that have must hit buys or grand jackpots that increase big enough to where you're going to actually make money in the long run to play them. But nice. Oh, it's only $5. So in my early 20s, I got in trouble gambling basically, and ruined my credit, set myself back. And at the time, I was trying to actually start businesses. I was doing, I was doing all kinds of crazy things. Trying to put together groups of people to buy an apartment complex. I was even trying to get a new product into home. Nice, very nice. I was trying to get a new product into Home Depot, and so I was doing things to try and make money, but I gambled way too much for the income that I had. And so, fast forward, I basically learned my lessons in my early to mid 20s, and I really didn't pick up gambling again for a very long time. And that very long time was actually when I was, come on, is when I was playing poker, because I found poker to be actually profitable if you play it correctly. So I was playing online, and I was playing 6 to 8 tables at a time, and I was playing mostly low stakes tournaments. And at one point, I was in the top like 0.3 percentile of all online poker players. And I was in the National Guard, and I got deployed in 2012. And while on deployment, come on, luxury line, please. And while I was on deployment, they outlawed all online gambling, including poker. And I was irritated with how that bill passed. My degree is actually in political science, and I just think it was wrong how they passed the bill. Basically, Senator Frist, he was from Tennessee, he slid the part about making online gambling illegal into a Homeland Security bill. And so inside this Homeland Security bill that talked about port security, how much money they were going to allocate towards, looking at shipments coming in, he slid a part in there that made online gambling illegal. Had nothing to do with Homeland Security, had nothing to do with the bill. And in fact, there was never really any debate about it. It just sort of happened because it was part of this Homeland Security bill. So there was never any floor debate. There was, in my opinion, there was never any governmental action to actually get rid of it. And it just, come on. Man, that's the Grand Train. That would have been so good with a luxury line. But anyway, so there was no reason why they should have done that without at least having some floor debate. They might have still outlawed it, who knows? But it was just one of those things where it was dirty. It was dirty politics to get rid of. Come on. It was dirty politics to do what they did. And so when I got back from deployment, I sort of found myself with, no gambling outlet. And not that I really needed to gamble, because at the time I just wasn't really gambling. And so I stayed away from gambling, did other things, started a couple more businesses, failed a couple more businesses, like 6 failed businesses in total from the time I was 19 to the time I was 35-ish. And then about 6 years ago, give or take, I started 2 businesses, not at the same time, and they've been fairly successful. And so when I became financially secure, I basically got to the point to where gambling, oh yeah, luxury line. Look at that, 100, 200. Come on, how many are we gonna get? $210. Can we get at least 5 trains? 1, 2, 3. Oh, 3 trains. Still good though. All right, more of those. All right. So where was I? So I have the disposable income to gamble, and I have a budget in mind. And in fact, I've been paying real close attention to my net worth, just to make sure I'm not exceeding what I can afford to gamble and still have my net worth slightly increasing over time. And I have a budget in mind for what I want to do with this YouTube channel, and there's a number in my head with which if I reach that number, and it's tens of thousands, but if I reach that number that I've lost, and this YouTube channel is not getting enough traction, or social media, because I'm going to be on other things as well. But if I haven't made enough traction to where it looks like there's going to be some sort of income coming in from this, I might stop. I doubt it. I might just go to lower stakes. If you ever see me playing, $1 a spin or something, then I've probably reached what I would consider my limit, or I started noticing my net worth decreasing. But what it comes down to is I have multiple sources of income, and I'm not saying this to brag. I'm just saying, because people all the time, oh yes, finally, hold that thought. All right, we're gonna do the luxury line feature. Come on, be good. Okay, come on. Come on. Oh, purple train. Oh, we didn't get the luxury line either. Ah, killing me. All right. Whoops. $1.40, $10. Well, that's $10. That's 10. It's $1. 31. 30 bucks. Come on, $1. All right, 108. And that's not too good. That's actually pretty terrible. But hey, at least I got a bonus. Anyway, so where was I? So I'm when I talk about like things like my net worth stuff, I don't usually talk about this kind of stuff, but I'm only doing it in the context of why I'm doing this YouTube channel, and it's not, you know, to make money. Let me back up. It's not to gamble to make money, because that's just not going to happen. Gamble responsibly. So really, why am I doing this? Is basically, it's just a passion project. It's something where I'm perfectly content to sit at home, watch YouTube, watch, you know, things like Vegas Mat, or learn something new on YouTube, which is why I like YouTube a lot. I'm perfectly, come on, luxury line. You know, I'm perfectly content to just hang out and chill. And this is one of those things that gets me out of the house. It makes me more social. I like talking to people. I call myself an introverted extrovert, where I don't really necessarily want to leave the house and socialize, but when I do, I really enjoy socializing with people. So this is just sort of a way to get me out of the house more, because I tend to you know, basically just be in my office all day and you know, either watch YouTube or whatever else. And this gets me out of the office, and it's fun for me. And like this trip, for example, you know, Harrah's flew me out to Lake Tahoe, and you know, it was, come on. All right. Uh-oh, hold on. Hold on. Got the blue train. Can we get the minor? It's 500 bucks. All right, we're up to 128. Minor, yeah! Nice. This is better than my 3-coin bonus. Too bad it's not luxury line, because then I get it multiples of it. But hey, what a beautiful bonus. All right. Sweet. $832. Well, all right. Sweet. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to cap this at 1,000. So no matter what, I'm not going to lose any money. Come on. I need a coin feature that redeems itself. Come on. You had your chance. So yeah, this is really just a passion project, something to, I did want to make one note on this, and I thought about this as I was thinking about what I was going to talk about this video, is I think if you have the ability to do something social media wise, I think you kind of owe it to yourself and future generations to do it, not in a narcissistic way. Like, I don't expect like 5 generations from now, my, you know, niece's great grandchild is gonna watch my YouTube channel. But there is something to be said about, you know, future generations being able to sort of look back and see what kind of person you were, what kind of things you enjoyed, what kind of things you did. And I think it's important. I think it's important to sort of put these things out there, if for no other reason than you yourself can look back on it and sort of, you know, see things. I'm about 20 days behind on editing, and so it's far enough out that I'm getting to relive some of the stuff that I went through while making these videos. and it's fun. It's just fun to reminisce and fun to think about. Come on, And so I think if you have the ability to do something social media wise, even if it's for yourself, even if it's like private, recording stuff and just having stuff from your past. I wish I had done more of that in my 20s and 30s. I was just so focused on, nice. I was so focused on grinding that I didn't really take a minute to stop and smell the roses and record stuff and, keep memories of stuff, keep track of stuff. And I kind of regret that because it's fun, even just looking back 20 some days when, oh man, that was a crazy spin, or oh, that was a crazy bonus, or I had a lot of fun. Ugh. Come on. 106. All right. All right, looks like we got 3 more spins, maybe more. Come on. All right, last spin. All right, well, that was fun.